Hey guys, Jeremy here, and this is going to be update number 8, adding CO2 to my Fluval Flex 15 gallon. And as the title says, today I'm going to be showing you how to add CO2. Let's jump on into it. So this is everything that I have for my CO2 setup, and this is going to be just about everything you'll need for yours. I have a little in-tank diffuser, I have a bubble counter, I have my one-way check valve, I have an electronic solenoid to connect all of this to a timer to turn on and off with the aquarium lights. I have a pressure regulator. It goes from 0 psi to 30, and that's to take down the 800 psi tank, which has an adapter to go to that thread in here, because this is actually made for a keg. So to start, you're going to need a CO2 tank, and if you get this regulator in particular, you're going to need the adapter to go with it. On this regulator, it comes with this brass fitting where this pneumatic push connector valve is. This side of this fitting is a MFP or something like that. It's a tapered fit. Or, I don't know what it's called. But most importantly, the other side of this is a 1/4 inch NPT. And most pneumatic fittings always come in an NPT, whether it be 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, or whatnot. So this has an 1/8 inch NPT drilled and tapped in it, and so my little speed regulator here has a 1/8 inch NPT thread that threaded right into it. I don't want to take it out because it came with thread locker on it, and I don't want to take a chance of ruining my seal. So this, you just put your hose into it and it connects, kind of like this. So you put it in, you push it, and that's it. It is sealed and it is locked in. So that is actually the first step of this. For my setup, since I have my solenoid, this is the first piece I'm going to need to put into my valve. And as you can see, all of the pieces already have tubing on them. I had this previously set up to make sure that it all worked before I made this video. So next would be to connect the solenoid right after my regulator, or speed controller, sorry. This solenoid is not directional, so you can connect it on either side, and I just wanted most of the weight on the bottom half of it because it's going to sit like this. You can connect it to to whichever side is most convenient for you. So on the other side of this, we are going to put our tubing with our one-way check valve. So that's going to go here. The one-way check valve is going to prevent water from our bubble counter to go into the line, into the solenoid, and all the way down into the tank. So a one-way valve is an extremely important device on your CO2 setup. So now we're going to connect our bubble counter, and some of them, most of them I believe, will have an orientation on which side is up. Mine has a little tube on the inside. I don't know if you can see it from there. And that little tube goes on the bottom because that's where the air bubbles come out of. So we're going to go ahead and stick that on there. Alright, so that's on there. And before you connect the tubing on the other side, you're going to need it. My bubble counter came with this, and it is to fill it with water, so you need to fill it with water. I do it about halfway, maybe a little bit more than halfway. So let's, before I do that, we will connect the other side. So I have a glass U-bend to connect at the or to go into the tank at the top of the tank over the glass. You don't have to use this, you can just throw the silicone tubing over the edge, it'll be just fine. At the bottom of the tubing that goes into the tank, you're going to need your bubble counter, or not bubble counter, sorry, your diffuser. You're going to need your diffuser. So here we'll connect this. If you buy a glass diffuser and bubble counter and U-bend, make sure you are very careful not to break them as you install them. It's not quite straight, it's kind of sticking up. I want it a little further over, but it'll work. So now that this is all set up, I can go ahead and fill my bubble counter with water. I just used regular tap water. And that is it. It is full of water. Now, I can connect this tubing to the other side of my bubble counter. And this whole thing is all set up and ready to go. So now we will take it over to the tank. Okay, so as far as installing it into the tank, this U is going to go over the top edge of your glass, and the diffuser just gets suction cupped to the side. I have my diffuser about 3/4 of the way down to the substrate. It's nothing in particular or for any special reason, it's just where I thought it looked aesthetically pleasing. So everything is now suction cupped on. We have to connect the CO2 tank. Okay, so this is the little cubby hole right next to my fish tank where my CO2 tank is going to go. First thing you'll want to do is screw your regulator onto your adapter. If you screw on the adapter first to the to the CO2 tank, it will just spew out all of the CO2, and that is rather dangerous. So make sure you, for this style regulator, you screw the adapter to your regulator first. So now screw the tank on. I had that all the way open. There we go. 0 PSI. Ready to reconnect my little push connector. Alright, that's all connected. So I'm going to set this up to about 15 PSI. Right there. My little side speed controller is closed. Now to plug in my solenoid. And to adjust my speed controller until I have about 1 bubble per second. Okay, so now we just slowly loosen our speed controller knob until we have about 1 bubble per second. Now, if you do accidentally let out a whole bunch of bubbles like I did, you do have to wait until the pressure equalizes before and after your bubble counter, because as pressure changes, how fast the bubbles come out will also change. So to balance all of this, it just takes some time and some practice. You're going to want to check it every few minutes when you first get it started. Once it looks good, every couple of times you check it, you're going to want to check it every couple hours just to make sure. And then just regularly, really, because you don't want too much CO2 inside of your tank, because that will cause your fish to suffocate, which is not a fun thing to see. But for today, that's going to be about it. My last little tip for today will be on my old regulator, which looked like this. If it won't focus. So, this little thing right here, I bought it off of Amazon or eBay, and then I got the needle valve. This little thing right here is very, very dangerous because it is not a regulator. All it does is it tells you how much pressure is in your tank, so the full amount of pressure, whether it be 900 psi or 800 or whatever. And then the needle valve I was going to use to regulate my bubble flow. I almost suffocated my fish with this because of the pressure differences and because of temperature change in metal. When the metal warms up, it grows, making it either put out more bubbles or less, depending on whether how hot or cold the valve is, and it's not, I could never get it to work. So I highly recommend the regulator that I showed you in this video. I'll have links to all of the equipment that I used in this video in my description below. And I thank you for watching. Please comment if you have any questions, concerns, or anything. And please subscribe for my next video. Thank you guys for watching again. Bye bye.